Hey friends, it's me, Lauren Hope, aka Lolo of Good Girl Chronicles, blogger, influencer, motivational speaker, body positive model, yes, dog mom, lover of Dwayne Johnson, and all around fabulous. Today we have a guest with us. It is Women Who Slay Wednesday. This was a series I did, I think last year, where I just had chats with my girlfriends about certain topics or certain things going on in their lives. Today, I'm very excited to have my girlfriend Charese Chambers with us. We're going to talk all things love, sex, and relationships, but around some trending topics around love, sex, and relationships. Welcome to the channel, Charese.
Thank you for having me. This is gonna be good because we are behind closed doors, but I feel like having it pulled to the forefront will debunk the Kevin Samuels of the world and the sweeties and all the things that everyone's talking about, because I think more people think like us, or maybe they really need, or they need to find their tribe of people to find their voice. Maybe that's where we've gone wrong. We've lost our voice and gotten caught up in social media, and now we can't even decipher what we really want. We're just regurgitating what we've already heard.
True story. And I've said this a couple times on my channel that your tribe matters, who's around you matters, your friends matter. And Charisse and I have been friends for 4 years, which is so crazy to think about. I feel like it was just yesterday I met you in good old Bedford County. It does. So Charisse, tell us a little bit about you and your life. And yeah, let my girlfriends know who you are.
Since we're talking about love, relationships, and things, I am newly divorced. I was married for 11 years, so I speak from a place of singleness, married over a decade. Like, it's not like, that's the other part. Like, a lot of people are giving contributions to this conversation, and I'm like, so have you ever been married? And they're like, no. Like, you only know singleness, really, to be honest, right? And we can also speak from a place of what we believe, without actually going through an experience. But honey, I'm trying to tell you, having an experience about something gives you a different perspective. I have no children. And I'm single because I'm recently divorced. And yeah, I'm a business owner, and I live in the lovely Lynchburg, Virginia at the current moment. But anything's bound to change, and I'm up for all the things. So yeah, that's really where I'm at right now.
Yeah, she lives in one of my favorite parts of Virginia. I've actually featured Lynchburg on here a couple of times, and
Just,
huh?
just a couple.
Oh,
Ah,
it's been a lot of times, correct. I'm always like, I'm going to Lynchburg again. I'm going to Lynchburg again. I don't know what it is. And it's so funny. When I was a television reporter in Lynchburg, I was like, ugh, when I first signed my contract, I'm like, I want to get out of here. And then second year, I'm like, I love it here. Lynchburg has that effect on people. But yeah, what's really interesting. So I'm single. We know that I'm habitually single. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Um, but I am really in tune to pop culture and the conversations around love, sex, and sexuality on social media. And it's really interesting that some of the trending things that are being talked about. The first thing I wanted to talk about actually was this idea of alpha and beta men. And I'm going to be honest with you that this is a newer concept to me. I'm still kind of navigating how I feel about it. I think, Charisse, you have a little bit more context or understanding. So when people say alpha, beta, male, what a man, what do you think they're actually saying?
I think that when people say alpha men, they think boardroom, suit ties, men who give instructions, but that's the furthest thing from the truth. A beta man very much can have what we call soft skills, like we say at jobs, right? Where they are natural leaders. I think men in general are. That is their wheelhouse. Just because someone has the capacity to be logic in their thinking, because women can be too. If we're going to decipher between masculine and feminine energy, but because of that characteristic, a lot of times people are like, men are alphas because they're more logical. That doesn't mean that they're good leaders. That doesn't mean that they could be very forthcoming. Because the other part of that too is that men can not think that they're not right all the time too, be conceited and things of that nature. And I think that comes from a beta place. Someone who it does not, a man who does not take accountability in his life, does not have a tribe of his own. We talk about women, but men have tribes of their own as well. Someone who is accountable, tribes who support them, someone who can come with empathy for his for women and the women in his life. That if he can't do those things, then very much he's a beta man.
It seems like that beta men are seen as weaker and softer. Would you agree with that assessment?
No, and I would say actually it's in the silence of your strength that makes you strong. Any man I've ever interacted with who was an alpha man, it's very much like, you don't have to tell people you're the boss. People already know. I went to actually, it's very intriguing. I've done some self-reflection work, especially after my divorce, and it's needed for healing and stuff like that. And I went through a feminine class, and last night I went to a drag party, and I had this lady, she just came up on me and she was like, your energy is electrifying. She says, you command the room. I was like, it was like that aha moment, almost like I've done the work and people can see it now, like you just never know. And then this crazy thing is, today this lady told me I was pressure, and if if you're if you're a person who understands lingo, that means basically like you got the sauce, okay? And I was just like, oh, like this whole weekend's been very much so back to the men part of it all. Like alpha men don't say that they're the boss, they just are, just women who navigate themselves in their feminine energy, they just are. And I think maybe there is something to be spoken of about the natural progress of how women and men work together. If God intended us to be the same, then why are we so different? I think it's in our differences that we can come together better as a collective, instead of being so much like, and I'm not saying, let's also be clear, men and women alike both have masculine and feminine energy. My dad raised me first, when my parents were divorced and before he got married, and he most definitely tapped into a more maternal space with me, raising me, by himself before he got remarried. So it's not to say men can't be feminine, whatever that term,
Sure.
right? But again, men who are alphas, they don't say it, they are.
No, I feel that. I don't know that I've ever characterized it. I've said this on this channel before too. I tend to like hyper masculine men. Probably, I'm really a delicate, soft woman, and I think people would be really surprised sometimes the men that I date, a little rough around the edges. But I also believe that how we were reared as children, and this is some psychology, how we're reared as children, how we see our parents in marriage plays a factor in what we're attracted to. And growing up, I saw my mother really emasculate my stepfather, and he was this really strong Navy man who was not allowed to be the head of the household. So now men that are passive or not assertive is the biggest turnoff to me. And I think that beta alpha thing kind of plays into that. But I would be curious, girlfriends, what you all think about the alpha beta male philosophy. Comment down below. I want to hear your thoughts. Have you dated an alpha man or a beta man? What are you more attracted to? Another really big trending topic is a lot of men on social media, because I feel like men be getting really bold on social media. And I'd be like, would you say this to me in person, sir? So there's discussion on men saying, like, feeling like they are the ish and saying, well, what do you bring to the table? Tell me what you're bringing before I even give you the time of day. And Charese and I have had a couple of comments about this. What do you think is so wrong about asking women this question?
Because again, if you're an alpha male, you don't ask a woman what she brings to the table. The understanding is, one, okay, so I ran into something today actually, and I thought it was very intriguing. I think that the reason why we lose sight when we're dating is because we don't date we don't date with purpose or intentions as much as we think. And also I'm reading a book called Creating Boundaries, Creating Your Peace. And the book is more about communication than anything. We don't communicate enough. So this lady says, this I watch married they
Married
get married
at first sight.
first sight, right? And the couples that are on this season, one of them, they already knew each other. They already knew each other.
Wow.
And they had went on a date, and she said when he had asked her out, she didn't know if it was a friendly date or if it was like he. And the question for me is, then why didn't we set the parameters now that I know better, right? Because they probably would have, a man would have asked me out, and I would have just said yes, and if I was confused, just let the confusion be wrapped up in my thoughts, right? And then let things play out as they will. But now, as a 38-year-old, if a man asks me out, what is your intentions? Also, I'm not a woman who takes free dates, and we'll probably get into that kind of conversation later too, because I also understand that it's hard out here being a man as well. And I'm not here. And look, for what I do for my business, I personally don't have time to waste. So it's not even about the man more say, it's more about me. Like, what do I need? What do I want? I can buy my own meal. That's the least of your worries, right? So that goes back to the question of, what do you bring to the table? Read the room, sir. Like, if I'm the kind of woman that I am, you don't need to ask me that, because I pay my own rent. If you're dealing with a woman who is a single mom and she pays her own rent, she keeps her nails done, hair done, or not, she got her own car, she got her own things. The least of your worries is asking her what she brings to the table.
Right.
It might be a conversation for someone in high school, but why are you even asking someone even in high school? That sounds kind of very premature. Y'all both live with your parents, okay? But the other for me is, please don't get your feelings hurt asking a question prematurely when you are also not ready for the response. Because if you live with your parents, you got roommates, you are not bringing the thing that you are also asking of this woman. You are opening up a can of worms that you just, no, and no. Again, read the room. If you are dating a woman who is put together, asking her what she brings to the table is the least of your worries.
No, I agree. I also want to say that I think it's important to note that I think we both kind of share kind of some traditional gender role ideals to some degree. I do believe, just basic, that I guess I could say, men are hunters. Let me just basically say it this way. Everyone knows on the channel that I am a Christian. So, there is something that says that a man who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So, and there's other things in the Bible that kind of asserts like what the man's role is. I do believe that men are supposed to be the head of the household, providers, the backbone of the family. I am working towards being a strong, independent woman. Trigger word for some people. And spiritually, when I'm married, I'm going to submit to my husband. And I believe that men are I believe that men are the seekers and the chasers, and something in our society has kind of flipped that a little bit. And I've done that too. So now I am dating with the intention of marriage. And I'm clear on that. So that also means that I've had to make some changes in myself and how I handle and approach men. And I have to filter people better. And that's a work in progress. But now at 37, I am telling people up front, I am dating with the intention of a relationship and marriage. If that's not something you see yourself getting into in the next 2 to 3 years, then let's not waste each other's time. And so I just wanted to clarify that intentionality is huge, and being honest. Like, I definitely was like a lot of women where I'm like, okay, he's rough around the edges, but I'm going to wear him down, or I'm going to make him love me. No, a lot of times men will show you who they are in the very beginning, sister. And I feel if that man don't say he in a relationship with you, girl, you ain't in one. You're not in one.
Very much so. Conversations we hear over and over again where a woman's like, I dated a man for 5 years, 6 years. We broke up and he was married to another girl in 3 months, Trust me when I tell you, women who are ever watching, believe a man when he says what he is.
Right.
Believe a man. And that goes for women too. I know we're talking a lot about the men. When people tell you who they are, believe them. And
right.
way louder than words, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but again, you have to way someone moves, and if that aligns with who you are. And the thought process really is not even just relationship wise, but when you get an alignment with yourself in a way that you can magnify and manifest people, business wise, professional, personal, to be in your tribe in a way that fulfills you as a person, that's a great place to be. And I'm finding now that that's exactly where I am. And I'm just like, what at first I'm like, when did I arrive to this place? But I could be no more happier than what I feel right now with all the relationships that I have on all in whatever stages that they are. And that's
Yeah.
because of the work, I communicate better, and I aim also intentionality to do even better, communicating my needs, my wants, my new boundaries, my desires, and all of those things. It takes work, but I mean, I remember one day, especially when my divorce was coming to a finalizing itself. I had ups and down days, where I miss cooking for somebody, or I miss turning around, or going down the stairs to see, just whatever. And then I was just like, Charisse, you're not lonely, you're alone. And there's most definitely a difference. And I think if you can master uh, being alone to a place where you're so content with yourself, you yourself will bring so much more to your relationship. I just find that I'm more enriched and also invested in relationships I have now, because I know what I bring to the table. And at any given point, if those relationships have to fizzle or whatever, I mean, so be it. But at least I know my sanity of who I am will be intact if those things happen. Before, that ending a relationship with somebody, romantically or not romantically, would just ravish me. I mean, I would just be like, all the things I wish I could have did right, or all these, all the things, because I'm an overthinker, honey. But I don't feel that way anymore. I just like those things were a season. I'm so grateful for the lessons I learned during that time. And I move on. Lauren knows very much a lot of relationships I feel that way about. And I have no animosity. And even to be totally honest with you, my divorce is very amicable. We didn't have any fuss. It was non-contested, and we were able to agree on stuff very quickly. And in the state of Virginia, you only have to be separated for 6 months. As soon as those 6 months were over, we were divorced. I mean, because we'd already put in the paperwork and stuff. So, well, I should say I put in the paperwork, but I mean, yeah, I don't have no animosity. I don't have time for that. Again, that's like almost like my new season too. I don't have the time or capacity for the negative space of it all. It's not. That's not my purpose.
Yeah, and I hope you don't mind me getting a little personal about that, but life post divorce, being with somebody for 11 years is really challenging. So, are you, dating, getting to know people, and what has that experience been like for you?
Yeah. So, initially, um, just talking, but most definitely had a focus, because I have intentionality. You most definitely can tell people's intentions off top. So, it kind of brought things to the forefront. Also, I made up in my mind I did not want to go on any dating sites. That's just not my MO. And also for what I do, I just like, it didn't seem very appeasing. I'm also geriatric millennial, as the younger people would say. I think I like elder millennial to be better. I'm like, I'm not geriatric. That's not that. Oh, goodness gracious. But, and also TikTok has most definitely like kind of given me a pause. Like, if this is what's going on Bumble and all these other things, I'm like,
Yeah, it's hard out there.
I don't have Facebook. Lauren likes Facebook dating, but I don't like those spaces. If it was like back in the old day where you can like instant messenger people like we used to do on Yahoo, maybe. I mean, this is an elevated version of that, but no. I've reconnected with people I know. I also, again, I've had enriched relationships with people. I'm very private. Because even Lauren had mentioned, let's just say it, she forgot that I was married because I just didn't post my very much, because I'm just a private person like that. And very much that's the space I'd like to be in moving forward. But I guess if you're asking me to have a special someone, I do have someone special in my life, of course. But that's for me to know. That's the part.
Not everyone's as open and spills the tea the way I do. Okay. I'd be like, listen, let me tell you, although I've taken a big pause on sharing about my love life since the gentleman caller. Okay. So.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give to women on the channel who want to date, want to get back out there, but maybe are afraid or have gone through a divorce themselves? What advice would you give them, particularly since you're not using dating sites?
Be open. I mean, I think you attract a lot of stuff, and I think having the right energy attracts the right things that you're looking for. But in attracting people, because I read somewhere, you're not responsible for what you bring in, you're responsible for what you keep. So you go attract some fuck boys and some men who ain't about stuff, okay? But you have to vet them, and that's the part of asking the right questions. Are you married? There's a woman in your life who thinks that you guys are married? Is there a woman who thinks that you guys are dating each other? Is how long has it been since you've been with another woman physically? You gotta ask these questions up front, because honey, guys will tell you anything and say you never asked. To be honest with you, I googled the guy that I'm talking to, and his name popped up, and I looked through all the things.
Everyone should do that, honestly. Just the way the world is set up, do some research on the person. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. I live in a space of vulnerability, and that's very scary. But me and Lauren were talking about, in order to experience something in its fullness, you have to be vulnerable, which you have to take a chance that it might not go the way that you think that it will go to. And that could be heartbreaking. But I always say, my friend Brittany says, she's like, we pray this prayer. She's like, God, if it's not for me, then take it out quickly. And the quickest you can find out all the things you can about somebody, the quicker you can assess if they are if they're your person, or if you can on a long-term basis. Like, I need to know if you smoke. Because people bring their representative. And I have, before I got married, when I was in college, I talked to this one guy, and we weren't really talking, but we knew each other because where we worked at. And I swear he plotted on me for a long time, because we just talked, just very friendly, like, and then one day we end up, sleeping together. And it had been maybe 2.5 years at that point. So it'd been some time. It wasn't like I just met him and then we whatever. It was a couple years. We slept with, and the moment we slept with each other, he told everybody at work, and I was just like, really? like, just gave me a thought process, that because some guys, they are in for the long haul to play games, honey, and they're masters at it. So asking the right questions, intentionality, and then also being okay if you get hurt. I hate the ideal of it, but all I can do is come and be solid who I am, with what I bring to the table. And ultimately, I feel more sorry for them if they lose access to me, because I'm the prize.
Yes, queen. Yes, I love that energy. Honestly, the biggest advice I would give to people, because I feel like my channel has gone through a journey with me of like, I'm never getting married, I'm never being with someone. I had to, because sisters, I'm on a self-love journey. I had to really start to heal myself from the things that happened to me when I was homeless and things like that, and then focus on loving myself. Because I think when you come to that place, there's certain things you're not going to tolerate. I was recently in a situation where definitely the person I was dating, we didn't align in some places, but I really tried to give it a shot. Because I love myself and I know what my boundaries are, there was one boundary that was crossed, or, support that wasn't given. And I just made the executive decision that that's it. This person loses access to me. But I don't think that I would have known that had I not spent the time to be on a self-love journey. And then being really clear about what you want from a partner. Not all attention is good intention. And I'm really, really clear what I want from a partner, and what I need. And so those are some important big things too. I love, love, love this conversation. Maybe we will do a part 2 again. I also want to hear in the comments section what you think about dating post-divorce, what questions you have about dating, apprehensions, and then we'll have Charese back on the channel. I think that would be awesome. Also, I'm going to put her socials down at the bottom so you can connect with her. She is currently, this month, it is her birthday month. Yay! And she is sending off her birthday or counting down her birthday every day on Instagram by doing a live talking about things like this. And also a dress ministry. When we talk about feminine energy, that is you.
Yes.
So yeah, every day of the month of August, girl. And I'm like still a recovered tomboy, so that's not my vibe. But she's wearing a dress and she's hot. And so definitely go check her out, and we will definitely do this again. All right, girlfriends, thank you so much for spending some time with me. It's the most precious thing that we have. Also, click that subscribe button. I talk about love, sex, relationships, mental health, and everything in between. And I'd love you to continue this journey with me. As we say here at Good Girl Chronicles, I love you. I love God more. See you next time.